Hello and welcome to the show. So we have another challenge for you today. This one has been, well, this has kind of been suggested in different formats. We've just kind of tweaked it into one that works. As you can see, we are here at Mugello and I am driving a Celine Mustang. Now, the challenge for this one is we are going to do a race. We're going to do a 2-lap race around Mugello. However, we are only allowed to use one gear. We have to select a gear at the start and then use that gear for the entire race. There have been sort of varying, slightly different versions of this challenge, but that's what we're going to try and do. It kind of comes in a bit of tactics. Do you use a high gear to get better top speed? Do you use a low gear?
Oh dear, I missed the breaking point there.
Every time. Everybody's going to think you do that deliberately, or are you just incompetent?
I don't, that's not, yes, I bought a Tesla and I think you find I will have won this.
You're a cheat. You know how much...
That's not a cheat, that's a fairly viable car.
Now the Tesla, for those of you who don't know, only has one gear, because it's electric. So you are a massive cheat. Go and get a proper car because you win with that one.
Yes, that was the criteria you told me, so I did. But yes, I did get a real car, and I got a Lotus Exige instead.
Yeah.
So
we're going to rate. Both these cars are very similar PIs. I think there's only 3 PI in it between the Celine and the Exige. So we are going to go do a 2-lap race. Now, of course, you would automatically assume the Exige is going to be the faster of the two. It is a much better handling car than the Celine, but the gear bits are going to play interesting. Now, I went for 3rd gear. As you can see, I even managed to get some wheel spin. Judging by the slow start from you, you went for a much higher gear.
To be fair, I only went for 4th. I don't know why it really bogged down that much, because I don't know whether you heard on the replay, I sort of like slammed the clutch and just dumped the clutch, and it wheel span a bit and then it just bogged down. So the gear ratio is a weird thing, but I did get it going.
Yeah, I think this is also to do with power and torque. If you have a very, very high powered car, very high torque car, you can sort of go in 5th or 6th gear. I think there was a TVR Speed 12 I had once that you could get it wheel spinning if you started in 5th, because it's got the power to do so. I will point out now, this is a very silly challenge to do with cars if you were to try this in real life. Because this isn't what...
Yeah, don't.
Yeah, this isn't what's meant to be done. But we're doing it anyway. So, of course, off the start line, I have a humongous advantage. I must have been about 400-500 feet in front of you by the time we got to the first corner, because, of course, I have all the acceleration. Now, I knew my car, when it got to the straight, was going to struggle. Because 3rd gear, this thing's not too bad in 3rd gear. It's still going to be doing about 120. But, of course, the Exige is going to be going quicker. Round the corners, though, well, the Exige is a Lotus, after all. And it's just... Even in the wrong gear, it's still so fast through these corners.
It was quick. It was a lot quicker than you. I think I pulled out... Well, I say pulled out. You pulled out, like you said, a 400, 500 foot lead. And I'd made it up. Yeah. This is still on the first lap, and I made it up within half a lap.
Yeah, as you can see, we're coming around the final corner of the first lap, and the Exige is right behind me. That's not what I wanted to see. I was hoping I was going to have sort of a big enough advantage coming onto the straight not to have a problem. Now, you are going to hear some tortured engines in this. I apologise. Couldn't really do much about it because that's just how it's going to be. So the Celine is bouncing off on the rev limiter as we go down the straight, and now you can see the Exige is beginning to catch it. This is all wrong, by the way. An Exige should never be faster than a Mustang in a straight line. That just shouldn't work. But never mind.
No, that would never normally happen, but in this case... Yeah. So I think I played the tactical game here.
Yeah.
I did play the very tactical game and got a better gear because the Mugello has such a long straight.
Daniel played the long game, whereas I tried to play the short game. Now, my theory was that, yes, the Exige may well end up getting past me on the straight. However, when it gets to the corners, it's not going to have the acceleration out of them because it's in far too higher a gear. The problem is, I didn't quite take into account how sort of wide the Mugello corners are. You can carry quite a lot of speed through them. They're not really slow speed corners, or any of them aren't really that slow. And because the Exige has so much downforce, like through here, where my car should be faster because I can be in a better gear, the Exige has got so much, or the Mustang has so little grip, is probably a better way of putting it, that as you go through there, I just can't keep up with the Exige. And as you can see here, we're coming on the final lap, coming towards the end, and the Celine is nowhere in sight. I did fall off the road a little bit, I will point that out.
No excuse.
But
I still won.
Yeah, I was still quite a long way behind. Now, of course, if we change the track, the results would be very, very different. For example, if we were racing on maybe Iberian, or what's another short track? I've forgotten every single short track.
The Camino?
Yes, Camino Vija. In fact, that would be even trickier because it's hilly. You change it to a short track, your results are going to be very, very different. Mugello is a very long track. I was trying to be a bit clever with the gearing. I was also hoping in the Mustang would have sort of a bit longer gears, which it does actually, because it can do 123 or whatever it was in 3rd, whereas the Exige is about 135 in 4th, I think.
Yeah, I think he did 135, something like that. So it was quicker.
And there we go. So the Exige won that quite easily. So I kind of blamed my car a little bit because it's never really going to be as fast as the Exige anyway. So I got in an Exige as well. Annoyingly, you can't change the colour of them from the garage. So we're both driving identical ones. This is going to be fun commentating.
Yeah, I'm on the left.
You're the one that's
right.
slow off the line.
Yeah, mine's the slow
I
one.
went for third gear again, thinking that my tactic of go for a short gear, get better acceleration out of the corners would be a good idea. Now, the Exige has very short gears. I didn't realise quite how short they are. As you can hear now, my car is bouncing off the limiter at 98 miles an hour. Which, yeah, that wasn't... I was hoping this car was going to have like another, again, 120-ish miles an hour in third gear, and that would have been fine. I didn't quite realise how short the gears were.
Didn't really expect the gears to be that short.
Yeah, I didn't really think it through properly. So, yes, as you can see, I'm driving through these corners. Now, through that bit there, it's alright in third. The minute we get on the straight here, it's sort of buzzing in the limiter, and I'm killing a Lotus engine. I'm sorry, car. So yeah, it is sort of struggling through here. It is quite
There's issues, I think, with your theory.
Yeah, on a shorter track it would work. It's just Magello is too long. So here we are. This is coming on to the second lap now. I have a relatively decent sort of lead coming onto the straight, and then it's sort of just buzzing all the way down the straight.
Yeah, you sort of hit the limiter about 500 feet before the start-finish line, at which I was still accelerating.
Yeah,
so
they're very easy.
Goodbye.
You're playing a game to see how close you can get to the back of my car there, I think.
I got fairly close, I think. If you hadn't had the lag, I would have got fairly close.
Yeah, unfortunately, I hate replays on Forza when they laggy about it. It kind of ruins the video. Anyway, so my theory was that you were now going to get bogged down, or at least my hope was you were going to get bogged down in the corners. But of course, it's going to be much the same story as it was with the Celine Mustang and with these. And
I just drove away.
Yeah, you didn't drive away quite as much as you did with the Celine, because we're both driving equal cars, and I have a little bit better gearing for a lot of the corners. The problem is, I'm bouncing off the limiter on every single straight, and coming up to the last corner here, I'm on the limiter. Coming out of the last corner, I'm on the limiter. So yeah, I didn't have the most successful day using third gear.
Third gear doesn't work. I think we can establish that. Third gear in a race doesn't really work. I think we can say stick to your normal gearing.
Yeah, definitely stick to your normal gearing. That's always going to be quicker. Don't try and race with a single
unless
gear.
you have an electric car. Unless you have a Tesla.
Yeah, that is a good point, actually. So yes, there we go. You're going to do a nice pirouette to finish. Now, of course, as I said before, results will vary depending on track. It will vary, I guess, depending on car as well, because different cars have different gear ratios. But there we go. We thought we would do that one because that's the best way we could make a gear sort of challenge work. So yes, that is it for this video, guys.
It went fairly successful.
It was amazingly successful, except, well, for you it was.
Except for me, not for you.
Yes, I didn't have the greatest of races. Anyway, that is it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching. As ever, if you have challenges you would like to see us do, then please do leave them in the comment section. If we think they'll work, then we may well do them. We may edit them a little bit to get them to work in a video, if that makes sense to everybody. So yes, until next time, goodbye.